25% of South Africa's mining industry is under black ownership, despite years of trying to redress the imbalance. The mining charter wants 26% by 2014. Chris Bishop spoke to Nchakha Moloi, chairman of South African Mining Development Association, at the Mining for Change conference that was underway at the Sandton Convention Centre.
The black level of mining in the mining industry is very low. It is very worrying. As we know, we've got the mining charter that's got a shelf life of about 10 years. We've gone through the half mark, and this year we went through a tentative review, basically looking back at how far we've gone and what progress we've made. And I think the general consensus in the industry is that our progress has been dismally low. And definitely, if we have to meet our targets in 2014, something miraculous has to happen. But at the moment, it doesn't look promising at all.
What are the biggest problems?
My guess is that the problems around the structuring of the deals, the financial sustainability, the financial structures that have been put in place. It's also on the whole concept of the entrepreneurs being able to negotiate good, financially sustainable deals. And also the fact that I think on the seller side, people have actually just gone to compliance as opposed to meeting the spirit of the law. They've just tended to comply with the absolute minimum requirements.
A lot of established people in the mining industry say black empowerment just brings in another layer of costs, and also it brings people into the industry who are not particularly interested in mining.
I think that is an overgeneralization. There are a number of people in the mining industry, black people, who are entrepreneurs in their own right, that has come into the industry and that have added significant value. And I believe that the deals that have been properly structured actually have delivered value. They are not a cost to companies, but have added significant value to those companies. Certainly the transactions that have been involved, all of them have been adding value to the companies that I'm working with, and certainly not all of them are a cost.
What can the state do to help matters?
The state has to apply the law. The state has to streamline its administrative systems, the turnaround times, and basically ensure that the playing field for transactions to happen is actually smooth.
How much danger is that any government measures taken could put off foreign investors?
My guess is that what is currently happening is too little is happening. And the fact that too little is happening, there is a lot of disturbances in society, and you can feel that extreme views are beginning to come up, and those extreme views are going to be a lot more damaging to the industry than if the state was to apply the law and apply it stringently to ensure that the objectives are achieved.
The ministry is sending back the MPRDA, the act that governs mining in South Africa. What do you want to see from the redraft of the Act?
The important thing is that the law, as it currently is a good law. The charter as currently looks is a good charter. The problem is that there are a lot of issues there that are not clear, issues that are not properly defined, and those have to be properly defined, and we need to get a more clarity, but also that the state's implementation mechanisms must be a lot more robust. And I think the department has also to rig up its administrative capacity to ensure that it's able to implement the law and regulate properly.
What's going to happen if we carry on the way we are?
The worst will happen. I think a lot of people maybe in Zimbabwe thought that Mugabe was mad when started, and things actually really went wrong in that country because the people who mattered in that country did not take the social issues seriously and did not come together to come up with solutions that were good for that country. And my view is we've left things as they are in South Africa, everybody is going to suffer. So the important thing is that the industry, labor, and government have to come together to come up with pragmatic solutions that will ensure that transformation happens and that it happens to the extent and depth that we all envisage it to.
What about the contentious issues like nationalization?
Nationalization means different things to different people. So my view is always to say to people, define what you are saying when you talk about nationalization. And firstly, that's the first thing. The second thing is that define clearly what is it that you are trying to achieve. Because if we know what we mean and we know exactly what we are going to achieve, there are a lot of vehicles that you can use to achieve those objectives. At the moment, as I'm saying, the law is unclear, compliance is not happening, and we are not progressing as we would like to. So all these words are being bandied around. And my view is that, like all these concepts in South Africa, at one point we'll all sit around the table, we'll define what is it exactly that you want. We will define exactly how we need to achieve that. Then we can name it anything. Because because at the moment, I'm sure people are just saying, nationalists are really saying, what is it that, what do they mean? And exactly how they're going to implement it, how is it going to be costed, and what is it that you are seeking to achieve. We need to identify those first, clarify those first, and then say, what vehicle are we going to use to achieve those things?
Let me be more specific. Would you be in favour of the state owning and controlling the mining industry?
I would have no problem with a state mining company, as is the case elsewhere in the world. If you look out throughout the world, there are cases in the world where state owns companies. In South America, I've got companies like Codelco, and there are a large number of, in Botswana, we've got Botswana that is owned by the state and DBS. In Namibia, we've got similar things. There are state companies in the world that have survived and succeeded. There are state mining companies in the world that has failed. In South Africa, again, the important thing is, why do you need to put together a state company? What is it that you are seeking to achieve? And once we've identified that and clarified that, then the question is, what kind of model are we going to use? Which are the companies that are state-owned, that have succeeded in the world, and why did they succeed? And which are the ones that were owned by the state and failed, and why did they fail? And then the question is, if we wanted to go down that route as a country, then we must look at the succeeding models, the ones that they managed properly and achieved the objectives that were originally set out to be achieved.